hard jujitsu.
Okay guys, we're going to focus on another option here, focusing on the same scenario, using a combination of rotation and compressing his spine to start to remove our arm from the control of his hips and his legs, and then start to defend or remove our body from this threatening position. So this time we're going to focus on a third movement, a different movement, where we use our hip movement towards his body to change the position of our shoulder. The mechanics that we talked about earlier is Lucas needs to make sure that he has a tight grip with his heels and his knees to control my shoulder, so that he can control my wrist with his arm, and then eventually use his hip or my elbow to damage my elbow. Now what we're going to focus on in this movement is to remove the control of our shoulder by walking our body in a strong position. Usually it's easier to do this movement when we combine. Any of these options that we've been working on is easier to use and do when we combine the movements together. When we take the tension out of our arm by forcing one of his hands to the ground, so that he only has one arm controlling our arm, and it gives us a better success rate with applying these rotational movements. So a really simple thing that I can do, especially if Lucas has both arms attacking my arm where he has very strong control, is I can force him to bridge by trying to come on top and stack his body. As soon as he bridges, I'm able to start to use my rotational movements. Now this time, instead of using our movement towards our head, we're going to focus on walking towards Lucas with our legs. So what I'm going to do here again is relax my arm. I don't want to give a better lever for Lucas by tensing my bicep on my arm. It makes it even harder for our arm to slide out of this position. The more relaxed my arm is, the less he has control of my arm. Now what I'm going to focus on here is walking my hips again in a square position towards and as tight to his head and upper body as possible. As I do the same thing, I pull my shoulders away from him, and if my arm's relaxed, I start to remove my arm from the position naturally. So from here, I make sure my thumb faces towards my own knees and legs, so I have a time with my arm being straight, but he's not able to finish immediately. So from this situation, I walk my legs. Again, I try not to pull my elbow to my lap, because that creates more tension on my arm. So all I'm going to do from here, is walk my whole body in this direction here. Now that I've lost, the tension of my shoulders, Lucas can try to put my arm back inside again, but my elbow is far too low than his hips. So whatever pressure he starts to apply from here becomes more difficult for him to finish. Again, it's super important that I don't give tension to Lucas by tensing my bicep and my arm, because that will allow him to pull my arm back inside his legs, and then we have to start our defense again. Remember, it's important that when I land in this position, that I keep my arm relaxed by walking my body, but not giving him tension. Now when I don't give tension to Lucas, it's very difficult for him to pull my arm inside. He tries to pull my arm inside. I just stay relaxed, and then I can start to push his legs away and defend my arm, and my elbow is very far clear past his hips. The main thing we need to concentrate on is keeping our body square and walking our shoulder and arm out of position by changing the positioning of our hips. And because our hips are connected to our shoulder slides out of positions closer to the feet and ankles, taking the tension out of the armbar position and removing the threat on the elbow joint.